Gillette Stadium. Ashland is the Super Bowl champion of Division 6 and the winner of the Aganis Trophy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Kunis Field for tonight's TVL matchup between the visiting Westwood Wolverines and your Ashland Clockers. The game just started. I have some starting lineups for you quickly before we get much further into the game. Starting for the Clockers, number 2, Cameron Gary, number 3, Jaden O'Brien, number 9, Kate Campion, number 10, Melissa Leone, number 11, Lauren Burak, number 13, Olivia Gleason, 15 is Sydney Whitkins, 16, Danielle Moriarty, 17, Jordan Sherman, 22, Lily Ryan, and the goalkeeper is Kaylee Masiello, 00. We are playing 15-minute quarters now in high school field hockey, and we're just about a minute into the game. The ball is on the Ashland defensive end of the field right now. Ashland is in pink. Tonight is pink night at the Kunis Field. Westwood has a free hit outside the circle. It's now inside. Ashland attempts to clear it out. It's intercepted again by Westwood. Driven back into the circle. And it's back out, and there's a call against Ashland. That is a corner call. That foul in the circle resulted in a corner for Westwood. So Westwood sets up for an offensive corner, it's called in field hockey. The ball has to be injected into the circle, leave the circle once and come back in and be shot from inside the circle to be a goal. Anyhow, Westwood is unable to get a shot off. Ashland will have the ball at the 16-yard line coming out. It's a little difficult to see those numbers in pink for the Clockers. In any case, that was Kendall Blum. No, that wasn't Kendall Blomquist. That was Olivia Gleason taking the free hit for Ashland at the circle, at the top of the 16-yard circle around the goal. And Ashland has a side in on the far side, and they're attempting to take the ball into the offensive end. The pass by the Clockers intercepted by Westwood at about the 40-yard line, driven into the circle, cleared by the Clockers, or attempted clear, and it must have hit her foot at the same time, and that is a foul in field hockey. It's called advancing. It can't you can't use any part of the body, foot usually, or shins, to redirect the ball. There's an injection by Westwood now on the near side. It is out of the circle. Number 5 brings it in, passes back to the injector, and a shot is attempted, but it's stopped by the Ashland defense, driven out to the near sideline. That'll be a side in for Westwood. I'll get you names and numbers for Westwood as soon as I can for you. That's number 18 putting the ball in play for Westwood. That's Olivia Williams. Ball goes almost to the far side, almost out of play on the other side of the field without being touched, and it's finally knocked out by Ashland, and there'll be a side in on the far side for Westwood. That's Lexi Bean taking that. Playing defense for the Clock is a little difficult to see her number with the pink, the white on pink, but I'll do the best I can. Number 10, it looks like, for Ashland. That was Melissa Leone. And the ball is cleared by the Clockers over the 50-yard line. It's the first time the Clockers have had the ball over the 50 into their own offensive end. It's sent down over the end line. And apparently, it looked for me like the goalie touched that ball before it went out of play. And if she did, it'll be a 25-yard hit for Ashland going in. The ball has to be taken straight out from where it went out of bounds to the 25-yard line, and Ashland will have a free hit from that point. In sending that ball into the circle, the ball has to travel 5 yards, be dribbled 5 yards, or intercepted by a defensive player before it goes into the circle, or else it's a foul by the offensive team. In any case, the ball doesn't make it in. The ball is picked up by Westwood. That's Barron. She dribbles down into the Clocker offensive end, but it's out of bounds off of Westwood. Side in for the Clockers on the near side. Give you a number on that as soon as I can see it. Number 13 for Ashland. That's Gleason. Westwood dribbles, a pass out towards the center of the field by 18. Back in. And Westwood sends the ball into the circle, and it looks like it's off of an Ashland defensive player, so that'll be a 25-yard hit for Westwood. Yeah, it is. So the ball comes out to the 25. The Westwood player, number 13, puts the ball into play from that point. She needs to move it 5 yards or pass it 5 yards before it goes into the circle. That edge stick hit by Westwood goes out of bounds over the back line, and that'll be a 16-yard hit rather for the Clockers. It's coming out. Oh, I see. It was deemed dangerous at the 25, so the Clockers have it at the 25 rather than the 16. Attempted pass on the near side is completed to number 3 for the Clockers. That's Jaden O'Brien. She dribbles up, passes it to midfield. It's intercepted by Westwood, but it still makes its way down into the inside the 20 and is inside the circle now. The ball is out of bounds, probably off of Westwood, because I see an Ashland player retrieving it, and it looks like it'll be a side in for the Clockers. That's Danielle Moriarty putting the ball in play from the far sideline. It's intercepted by Westwood, and she gets free and gets loose and has a 25 or 30-yard dribble downfield without any interference by the Ashland defense, and she's finally picked up over the 40-yard line, but it's sent out of bounds off of the Ashland defender, and again, Westwood will have a side in. Stopped by Ashland. Intercepted by Westwood again. Ashland's having trouble getting the ball out of their own defensive end. And that was a shot and a save. But I don't know what the ruling there was, but it was a 25. It must have gone out of bounds. So it was a 25-yard hit again for Westwood. Intercepted by the Clockers, and they send it downfield. A nice hit downfield down to the 50. Westwood is being marked by the Ashland forwards there and trying to get it back down into the offensive end. Again, that's number 12, Joey Roberts for the Clockers. Substitute has come in. Near sideline, Clockers are taking good control of the ball now. They're doing a good job of maintaining possession and not letting it go inside the 20 or 25-yard line. But it's driven down by Westwood into the near corner. Westwood's trying to get free, trying to dribble around. Playing good defense on that end is Olivia Gleason. The ball is in the circle. Shot is stopped. Taken by the Clockers, dribble downfield. And that edge pass by the Westwood player apparently went out of bounds on the far side, so it will be a side in for the Clockers just inside the 50-yard line. And we had a dangerous hit against Westwood, elevated ball, and again it'll be an Ashland free hit from inside the 40. It's passed upfield. Another out of bounds situation, side in on the far side by the Clockers. That's Elise Reap putting the ball into play. The ball is again intercepted by Westwood. And we're about 10 minutes into the game, into the first quarter here at Cunis Field of tonight's matchup between Westwood and Ashland. 4:57 to go here in the first quarter. We play 4 15-minute quarters. Attempted a shot is apparently out of bounds, and Westwood has the ball at the 16. There's not a lot of flow going on by either team here. It seems like they get control and pass it, or attempt to pass it to a teammate, and it's intercepted by the other team. But from the Ashland perspective, as long as the ball stays down in that offensive end, it's all good. Again, there's a foul by Westwood. There's a free hit again on the far sideline. It's a free hit by, we must have went out of bounds. Again, intercepted by Green. Bloomquist, the pass upfield. Nice dribble by number 5 for Westwood, and an actual shot on goal which goes out of bounds. We'll have to see what the ruling is. The ruling is that it went out of bounds off of Green, off of Westwood. That was number 3, I think, Ashley Barron for Westwood with that nice upfield dribble. Anyhow, Clockers have the ball at the 16. Stopped by Barron again in the circle. Official is a little bit out of position there, but it's driven by Westwood, Olivia Williams, out of bounds, so it'll be Clocker ball at the 16. That ball comes directly out from where it went out of bounds up to the 16-yard line, and the Clockers have a free hit. We have 3 minutes left in the first quarter here. Okay, there's a foul there was an obstruction call against the Clockers right at the 50-yard line, and it's taken down on a self-start. Shot is taken, and it's a 25-yard hit. I think Masiello appeared to make the save on that shot. It bounced out of bounds, and Westwood will have the ball at the 25. Shot ends up getting into the circle and again out of bounds off the defense. 25-yard hit again for Westwood. Into the circle, shot on net. Looks like a save was made in there by the Ashland defense, and that I don't think it made it through to Masiello. And it comes out onto the near sideline, and the Clockers pick it up, and that was Joey Roberts bringing the ball upfield, up to the midfield around the 50-yard line, but again it's intercepted by Westwood. And again intercepted by Ashland, so it's a free hit Ashland at about the 50-yard line. Nice drive. And a redirect by the Clockers into the circle, and it's a nice save by the Westwood goalie. Up she goes to the 50. Westwood dribbles the ball. Foul by Ashland. Another free hit for Westwood. That's Williams for Westwood dribbling the ball. Kind of a wild swing, but she does get it inside the 20, and it was inside the circle briefly, but again cleared by the Clockers. Near sideline, picked up by Sienna Bishop, and the ball ends up being a free hit at the 50 for Ayla Halcock. Violation. The ball's going back the other way. We're back and forth here. We're under a minute, under 30 seconds actually to go in the first quarter. It's been up and down. After the first few minutes of Westwood dominating in the offensive end, I think it's been pretty even the rest of the way. There's a deflection high up that was called dangerous. The deflection was high off the Westwood stick, which was deemed dangerous by the officials, so Ashland has the ball at the 16. And that's the end of the first period here at Cunis Field with no score. Tonight is pink night at Cunis Field at the Ashland field hockey game, and the Clockers are decked out in their pink shirts with white numbers in place of the traditional white. I didn't have a chance to give you the officials for tonight's game. The official on the bench side, the far side from where we are, is Dorian DiPilato. And on the near side, it's Art Krikorian. Two experienced officials. We had a JV game earlier before this game, before the varsity game, and I think the final score was 2-0 in favor of Westwood, visiting Westwood. It's a brisk night here at the field. Temperature is in the high 50s. Well, it was in the high 50s when I was coming over here, and I assume it hasn't gotten too much colder. 53, we're down to the low 50s. The wind is still kicking in from the northwest in double digits, 10 or 11, 12 miles per hour. And that is the end of the 2-minute break between the first and second periods. The officials will be blowing the whistle and calling the teams out, and we'll be getting set again for a face-off at the middle of the field. Actually, it's not a face-off in field hockey. It's called a pass back, but you don't have to pass it back. So I don't know why they call it a pass back, but that's what you can do, either pass it back or forward. I didn't happen to catch which team had the ball to start the game, but it will be the same team in the second quarter. And then in the third and fourth quarters, it'll be the other team. I believe it was Ashland that had the ball to start. And it looks like it is. Didn't catch a number, but it looks like it might have been a number 2, Cameron Geary, taking the pass back for the Clockers to start the second quarter here. That was a obstruction called against Ashland on that play, and Williams actually takes it for Westwood. She passes it to Bloomquist. Bloomquist dribbles upfield. It's stopped by the Clocker defense at that point, and looks like it might have been a foot or a shin against the Clockers. Westwood has the free hit, brings it inside the 20. It's driven into the circle. That would not have been a goal if it had gone through. It needed to be deflected. Looks like a foot call against Westwood there, and Clockers will have the ball just inside the 20-yard line. Driven out, stopped again by Bloomquist. Nice play. Marked by number 1 for the Clockers. That's Geary. It's out of bounds off Geary, apparently, and it'll be a side-in for Westwood at about the 10, 15-yard line. Now, she has to dribble that ball 5 yards or pass it to a teammate before it can go into the circle. Her attempt to pass to a teammate went far out to the 40, so that was a good play from the Ashland perspective. Ball stays, it's out of bounds now, and it apparently is off the Clockers. Westwood gets the free hit. Nice dribble by Westwood from 3 over to number 5, passed into the circle. A shot on goal there. From there would be a goal. That was Barron who took the first pass. And now we have a corner. There was a foul against the Clockers inside the circle, and that will be a corner. 6 Ashland defenders have to go to the 50. The ball is injected, has to come outside the circle, and that's a dangerous stick called on Westwood. So nothing resulted from that corner. Driven straight into the Westwood player by Ashland. It was Barron made the interception. Clockers gained possession of the ball, but it's sent out of bounds off the Clockers by Jordan Sherman. It'll be a side in for the Westwood rather. And we're doing that over again. I don't know why. Maybe the defense was too close. Ball is inside the circle. Westwood takes a shot on goal. It was stopped by somebody in there. Might have been the goaltender. But there is a foul, an advancing foul against the Clockers, and the Westwood will have another corner. So as you can see, there are 6 defensive players have to go back to the 50-yard line. That leaves 4 defenders in the net with the goalie, Masiello. The ball is injected, is going to be injected on the near sideline to Westwood. It's outside the circle. Shot on goal is high off of an Ashland stick. So I'm guessing that's going to be a 25-yard hit for the Wolverines, and it is. Bloomquist is taking that 25-yard hit, and she dribbles it about 4 yards, but passes it to a teammate who takes a weak shot on goal. It's stopped by the defense, but apparently it's stopped by their foot, and it will be another corner. There are 2 marks on the end line, on either side of the net, one at 5 and one at 10, and that ball is injected by the offense from the 10-yard marker. The 5-yard marker is there for the defense. They can't get any closer than 5 yards away from where that ball is injected. In any case, the shot goes nowhere by Westwood, comes outside the circle, and now it's back in. Intercepted by the Clockers, and we have obstruction call in the circle by the Clockers, so it's another corner. Sometimes a team will take that injection from one side or the other depending on what play they might have set up. There's no requirement that they take it from only one side. Westwood has been taking it from that far side. It's outside the circle. It's back in. There's a shot and a save. It's out because apparently that shot might have been dangerous or there might have been an obstruction. Anyhow, the Clockers have the free hit from the 16. Attempt to pass it to the far sideline. Goes out of bounds, apparently. So it's a free hit, side in for Green. Obstruction call against the Clockers. Free hit for Westwood again. A weak shot on goal is picked up by the Westwood player, but it's out of bounds off her stick. Well, the official apparently didn't see it the way I saw it. Apparently it hit the Ashland stick, so it's a 25-yard hit going in for Westwood. In the circle, shot on goal, a save. A stop, actually, by Westwood, and then she passed it to her teammate who took a shot on goal, which was saved, and that's a dangerous stick. Yeah. What? No, it's not called. That shot apparently outside the circle. It stopped again probably by a body or a foot. And Westwood will have, I think, their 5th corner in this quarter alone. And that's the end of. Oh, okay, yes, the period's over, but the corner has to be completed. If a corner is called and the hit is not taken, and we keep repeating it, if that hit is not taken before the clock runs out, that corner has to be finished with no time on the clock. And it can't end on a defensive violation. That was the first injection was on a defensive violation, so the corner is repeated. And there's another shot on goal. It doesn't end until a goal is scored or the defense clears the ball 5 yards beyond the circle. And it seems to me it has gone beyond 5. The clock says 0. Well, I'm confused. Apparently the quarter's not over. So we don't know how much time is left at this point. And I don't see that clock being corrected anytime soon. Apparently, there might have been a malfunction, and maybe one of the officials has the time on the field. So we don't know. We can't tell you why. But we still have time left in the second quarter here. Ashland finally gets it into their own offensive end. Intercept by Westwood. Out of bounds by Westwood. Hawkers have a side in. Clock still shows 0. There are fans in front of me who are confused as to why the game is still going on and the clock shows 0, but I can't help you with that. Ball goes back and forth between white and pink and green on the far side. Free hit now is for Ashland. Intercepted by Westwood. Cloggers are still working hard to try to get that ball into their offensive end, but Westwood seems to be able to stop every attempt at midfield here to get it out of play. There's a clearance attempt by the Ashland defense on that, but it doesn't go very far. It's intercepted by Green, brought into the circle, back out, and that is off of Green. It'll be a 16-yard hit. When I say there's a free hit, the player does not have to hit it. She can self-start as well. She can just begin a dribble and not necessarily drive it to a teammate. It's out of bounds off Green on the far side. Oh, we've got time back on the clock again. It says 5 minutes and counting. 5:02, 5:01, 5 minutes straight up. That was an aerial. I didn't see where it came from, apparently from Ashland. And that's legal if it's an attempt at a pass to a teammate or to a defensive player who happens to be the target. As long as the official feels it's not dangerous and there was a concerted attempt to lift the ball over a number of players and get it into an area where there is a teammate or a defensive player. Again, another interception by Westwood and an interception back by Ashland, and the ball is down deep into the offensive end, knocked out of bounds. Westwood went to get it, but it's clock or ball. Ashland made an attempt to get it into the circle, but it was again intercepted by Green. Number 5, Green, is sprinting downfield, attempting to keep that ball into play, and she does. Drives it to Bloomquist. Bloomquist passes it across the field to Bean. Bean runs it down, keeps it inbounds, but it's intercepted on the far side. I wish I could have told you her number, but again, with the lights and the pink, the white on pink, it's difficult to see those numbers on the far side. The ball is out of bounds off of Ashland, so Westwood will have the ball at the 16. The ball is driven into the Ashland player on the far sideline. Into the circle. Westwood defense intercepts, passes it out, and apparently out of bounds. It'll be a sight-in for the Clockers at about the 30-yard line. Passed in. Appears to be in the circle, but again intercepted by Green. Sent out upfield. And Westwood nearly had a breakaway, but it's run down. The ball is run down by the Ashland defender on the near side. It's a nice play by her, and as soon as I get a number, I'll tell you who that was. Number 16 for the Clockers, that's Danielle Moriarty, but she, in her attempt to pass it to a teammate, raised the ball too high. It hits the Westwood player, but she sends it out of bounds, so it's a free hit by the Clockers. Moriarty again taking the hit. Moriarty has the ball now. She makes a nice reverse stick dribble around the defender and finally gets it to her teammate. Natalia Arjona. That's Elise Reap with the ball, dribbling upfield. And we have a 2-on-1. But the one defender for Green intercepts the pass attempt. Westwood is doing a terrific job of keeping the Clockers from setting anything up inside the circle. When it does go down, the Clockers are having trouble getting a shot off. And to remind you, that ball has to be shot or deflected from inside the circle to be a goal. If it's shot from outside the circle, untouched by another offensive player, it's not a goal. We're down under a minute now, 45 seconds to go in the half. Nice interception on that far side by the Clockers. Number 16, it looked like from here, Danielle Moriarty. Free hit for the Clockers into the circle. But there was a violation, obstruction against Ashland. Wolverines ball from the 16. 20 seconds to go. Out of bounds. Clockers have one last attempt to get it into the circle before the quarter ends. And we have a little bit of a stall there by Westwood, and that should do it. That's the end of the second quarter. It's halftime here at Cunis Field in a game between the Westwood Wolverines and the Ashland Clockers, and there's no score yet. Westwood has spent a lot of time in their offensive end this second quarter, a lot more than they did in the first, and was still unable to score. So we'll have a 5-minute break now, a 5-minute halftime, and we'll be back with the second half. The score 0-0. Welcome back to Cunis Field here for the second half of the Ashland Clocker versus Westwood Wolverine field hockey game. No score in the first half. Westwood dominated offensively in the second quarter, but couldn't put the ball in the net with numerous corner possibilities. Penalty corner possibilities, they're called. Westwood starts the second half with the ball, both quarters. Krumsick is the player that puts the ball into play on the pass back, and as you could see, it was not a pass back. It was a forward pass to a teammate breaking into Ashland offensive territory. But anyhow, it stopped by the Clocker defense. Again, I want to apologize for having trouble picking up those numbers. Ashland has the ball. A 16-yard hit. It was off of green, out of bounds off green. So the Clockers have the ball from their own 16. There's a nice pass right through some defense. It was tipped by Leone, I believe. Yeah, Melissa Leone. Back to Arjona, and Leone picks it up and takes it deep inside of Ashland territory. Ball made it into the circle briefly, came back out. The ball is out of bounds off of Westwood. And that's Arjona with the ball on a side in, looking for an open teammate. He pops over a Westwood stick, and Leone picks it up. Ball is intercepted by Westwood, and Ashland starting off offensively in good shape here. It's almost a breakaway there by the Clockers, but there's a stop by Sherman. Bloomquist has the free hit, drives it 20 yards or so down into the Westwood offensive end. But it's intercepted by the Clocker defense, passed up, and makes its way up to the 40-yard line, and is out of bounds off Westwood. So the Ashland will have a free hit on the no, it wasn't a free hit. It was on the field. I mean, it wasn't a side in. In any case, it was inside the 45. The ball was put in play by the Clockers. Again, maintained possession after a back and forth, and Leone is again at the forefront of bringing that ball into the offensive end. It's out of bounds off Westwood. The Clockers will have a side in on the near side. That's Chloe Roberts putting the ball into play. And there's another foul by Westwood, and the Roberts will put the ball into play from about the 19-yard line. Oh, I'm sorry, that isn't Roberts, that's Sherman. Sherman needs to dribble that ball 5 yards to get it into the circle. There's a clearance by Westwood that hits one of the Clocker defenders, one of the Clocker forwards rather, in the foot, so it'll be coming out. That was Cameron Geary. So it'll be on the field. The foul was committed on the field. It wasn't a side in. Nice defense by the Clocker forward, Cameron Geary. But it's again deflected out of bounds off of Pink. I wanted to say White. Nice pass. Stop, but an obstruction call against the Clockers. Number 5 maintains. Diomede for Westwood. Dribbles upfield, quite a ways upfield. Gets it into the circle. And it was a loose ball there for a second. But there were more Pink jerseys than green. And Ashland's able to clear it. But there was a foul called against Ashland in the circle. So again, we have a penalty corner called against the Clockers. Westwood will put the ball from the 10-yard slot or hash mark on the near side. The ball goes out to the top of the circle. It's outside. It's back in. Attempt a shot is taken, but it's out of bounds. It wasn't the player on the far post was unable to maintain possession of the ball for Westwood, and it went out of bounds off Westwood. Free hit for the Clockers at the 16. Intercepted. It was a nice drive by the Clocker defense. It was intercepted by Bean for Westwood. It's back in the circle. There's a shot and a stop by the defense and a foot violation called against Westwood. Again, the Clockers have the ball from the 16. Pass goes way over to the far side, about 15 or 20 yards, but nobody touches it, so it's a side in for Westwood. That was a delayed call by the official on the far side. If you saw her arm up, she saw a foul against Ashland, but Westwood maintained possession of the ball, so there was no whistle, and Westwood was allowed to continue dribbling towards the goal. The whistle only blows as a shot. It misses its mark on the near side, but Westwood again maintains possession. Nice dribble, nice reverse dribble by Blomqvist again. She's one of their better players. Or make that Olivia Williams. 13 and 18. And we're back to what we saw in the second quarter with Westwood dominating play in the offensive end, but unable to get the ball into the net. Side-in Clockers on the far side. Again, it's intercepted by Green. Blomqvist attempt at a drive into the circle, but her stick hit the Ashland defender's stick, and the official ruled that it was stick obstruction against Green, so it'll be a free hit for the Clockers. A nice edge pass by the Clocker defender on the far side, whose number I couldn't pick up. Ball is back in the circle, but cleared again by the Ashland defense. They're doing a great job of keeping that ball out, and we have a breakaway possibility here. She was all by herself. That was Geary. The Westwood defense seems to keep at least two people back at around the 50 or further back than that. So Ashland is, when they do get a clearance, are unable to get a breakaway or get a number of people up there to outnumber the Westwood defense. Well, we have Leone picking up the ball. It's out of bounds. Oh, no, it isn't out of bounds. We're playing the blue line, not the white line. Nice try by Leone to get the ball into the offensive end, but it's intercepted again by Westwood. Again, they maintain possession. Nice passes. Krumsek to Bean. The ball went briefly inside the circle, came out. It's back in again. That's Bean maintaining possession on the far side. She passes it out. And it's in the center of the field again, outside the circle, but it's shot in and out of bounds off of Westwood. So it'll be a 16-yard hit for the Clockers. Again, the Ashland defense is doing a terrific job for Coach Molly Foley. They're back on their heels. They have been back on their heels for most of the game, but are doing a terrific job of keeping Westwood out of the net. The problem is that you can't have a team constantly knocking on the door like that. Leone had the ball briefly on the near side, tried to pass it to a teammate. It was intercepted by Green, and there's a hard drive by Westwood from about the 30-yard line, which doesn't touch anything, goes out of bounds. It'll be Ashland ball for a 16-yard hit. That defender on the far side for the Clockers is number 13, I think. That's Olivia Gleason. And she finally gets it through. Arjona to Porter. Stays in bounds. Arjona keeps it in bounds. It's taken away by Westwood. Melissa Leone intercepts it. Gets it to Arjona, and Westwood sends it out of bounds. It'll be Clocker ball, side in from the blue line, not the white one. The white ones are all football. Oh, she's on the wrong line. Yeah, she's on the wrong line. She was on the yellow line, which I don't know what that's for. Maybe soccer. Anyhow, it's back on the blue line, which is the field hockey line. The official noticed that and had to retake it. Nice pass on the far side. Arjona, it's in the circle. Looked like it might have been a Westwood foot. It wasn't called. Might have been advantage Ashland, so there wasn't a whistle. As long as the team that should get the ball in a foul maintains possession, the official will not blow the whistle. Now, I saw clearly a Westwood foot on that, but the official was behind the play and didn't notice it. He gave it to Westwood, but it's intercepted by Leone. She tries to get it into the circle, but it's intercepted by Bloomquist. And Bloomquist takes it to the far side and sends it upfield about 40 yards, so it's back in the Westwood offensive end, but the Clockers have intercepted it. And back and forth we go. Hopefully the Clockers can maintain some possession here in the offensive end, the way Westwood has been doing it in their offensive end. But again, we have a foul called against the Clockers, a free hit for Westwood. Nice dribble by Bloomquist. Another nice dribble around another defensive player by Bloomquist. There was a hold whistle against Ashland because Bloomquist maintained possession. The ball's in the circle. It looked like it was going into the net, and one of the Ashland players kept it from going in. It looked like it was behind another save by Masiello. It looked like it had been behind Masiello, and she didn't know where it was, but it was cleared out by a pink shirt, and that's what we want to see. Westwood's doing a good job of passing the ball around and trying to find the open man. Now that's got to be called. Yeah, okay, it is. That defensive stick work by Westwood was not legal from the side and preventing the stick from moving. That's called stick obstruction. So it was called, but it didn't allow the Clockers to get the ball over the 50-yard line, and so it's back in the Ashland defensive end. It's close to the end line, but Westwood maintains possession, doesn't allow it to go out, and there's a corner call in the circle. It looks like it hit a shot. Hit a defender's shin, an Ashland defender's shin. So we have the second corner called, offensive corner call against the Clockers in this period, in the third period, which has about 2 minutes left to go. The ball is injected and is outside the circle to Bloomquist. Bloomquist takes a shot. I couldn't tell if it was in or out, but it was on net but deflected by the defense and out of bounds off of Westwood. So again, the Clockers will have a 16-yard hit. We're down to 1:50 to go in the third quarter. Still no score. Dangerous pass, but it was hard enough to reach the other halfback on the far side for the Clockers, and she sends it up close to the 50-yard line. That pass by Gleason, I called it dangerous, but she could see that there wasn't a Westwood player in that area, and it was going to clearly make it through to the halfback, her halfback on her left. But again, Westwood dribbles down, brings it inside the 20, close to getting inside the circle. It's out of bounds off of Ashland on the far side. Side in for Westwood. Back and forth it goes. Ashland gets it. There's a shot into the circle. It was outside the circle. Would not have been a goal, but it got stopped by somebody in there. Green or pink, I couldn't tell. And it is out of bounds, but it's out of bounds this time off of Ashland, so it'll be a 25-yard hit for Westwood. It's Bloomquist taking it. sends it to a teammate outside the circle. She drives it in on the stick edge. It's stopped by the defense. Corner. The first stop was legal, but the second stop must have hit a foot. But now here we have a situation where there's 6 seconds left in the quarter, and this corner will be played out. As I tried to describe in the second quarter, okay, that's the end of the third quarter, but this corner will go on until a goal is scored or the defense clears it 5 yards beyond the circle. And it can't end on a defensive foul in the circle. And we'll go on a number of times it takes to get a legal clearance by the defense or a goal by the offense. The ball is still in front of the net. Masiello is keeping an eye on it. Westwood can't seem to get a shot off, and there's a foul by the offense, and that is the end of the period and the corner with no goals scored. The shot hit the one of the Westwood players on the foot, and that is an offensive foul in the circle, and that would end a quarter. End the corner and the quarter in this case. The corner is played out at the end of every quarter, but if it's a corner at the end of the game, at the end of the fourth quarter, and the resulting goal, if there is one, has no effect on the game, then it will not be played out. So the first 3 quarters, it doesn't matter what the score is, they'll play that corner out, the team that's ahead or behind. But in the fourth quarter, if a team is up by 2 goals and they get a corner or the other team gets a corner and the clock runs out, that will be the end of the game. So we have a 2-minute break between quarters, between the third and fourth quarters. We're still scoreless here at Cunis Field. Ashland is playing on their heels for 3 quarters and have managed to keep that ball out of the net. The defense and Masiello are doing a terrific job for the Clockers of making sure that the ball doesn't go in. We just hope they can maintain that defensive solidity and maybe get a breakdown in the offensive end and put it in and walk away with a 1-0 win. Both teams are surrounding their coach, who is giving final instructions for this final 15 minutes of the game. I'm sure Molly Foley is exhorting her team to continue playing strong defense and try to get that ball into the offensive end and maybe get a corner or two or a breakaway, which results in a goal. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I do not recall a save made by the Westwood goalie. So it would be nice to get a shot on her and test her a little bit and see if she can keep the ball out. I'm positive there hasn't been a save in the second or third quarters. I'm not sure about the first. And that's the end of the 2-minute intermission between the third and fourth quarters here. The whistles have been blown. The teams have to start breaking their huddles right now and come out for the start of the fourth quarter. It will be Westwood ball, as it was for the start of the third quarter. Ashland Cable will be covering the Clocker field hockey game next Monday night as well. I believe that's a 6 o'clock start. Can't tell you who the opponent is right now. It's getting towards the end of the season, so it could be Hopkinton, but I won't say that for sure. The teams are breaking now, led by Kaylee Masiello, the goaltender, 0-0. I assume the starting lineup will be as it was at the start of the game. It was Gary, O'Brien, Campion, Leone, Burak, Gleason, Whitkins, Moriarty, and Sherman, along with Masiello in goal. Nice pass by the Westwood player Krumsek, There's an obstruction call against the Clockers, so the free hit is called for Westwood. And as I said, that's called a pass back, but Westwood smartly uses a pass forward to a breaking teammate. Foul in the circle against Westwood this time, and Clockers have a free hit at the 16, and it goes out of bounds, and it went out of bounds by the Clockers, so it's a side in for Westwood. Nice passing, nice 2-3 passes by Westwood. The call is stick interference against Ashland there, so it should have been a hold whistle, but it's okay. The official called it no advantage gained by Westwood, so she blew the whistle and gave the free hit to the green. That pass is intercepted by Ashland on the far side. Again, it's hard to see numbers. Look like number 6 there. Halcock intercepting the ball. She's playing defense on the free hit by Westwood. Westwood player dribbles that ball in. That was Diomede, a starter for Westwood, and there's another penalty corner called, an offensive penalty corner called against the Clockers. Again, they're putting it in. Westwood's putting it in on the near side. It goes out to the top of the circle to Bloomquist. Bloomquist passes it to her right to a teammate. The shot is blocked. Maintained possession by the Clockers, and we have a possible breakaway. Leone alone. She tips it over the defense. Maintains possession. It was a 3-on-1, or 1-on-3 actually, but she's joined by a couple of teammates, and the ball makes its way by Leone into the circle. Westwood kicks it back out. I'm sure Coach Foley would love to see us challenge that goaltender, see if she can make any saves. But it doesn't last long. It's back out. Westwood maintains possession. There's an obstruction call that was held. But this time it's Ashland ball. And it's inside the 40, down around the 35-yard line. Free hit. Pass to a teammate. Reverse stick. Intercepted by Westwood. Yeah. It was a long drive by the Ashland defender on that side, which makes its way inside the 20 and 20-yard line, actually, and it goes out of bounds off of green. So the Clockers will have a side in well inside the 20-yard line. So she will have to pass that or dribble it 5 yards before it makes it into the circle. That wasn't 5 yards, but it hit a green stick, and they intercepted it. So it will be green ball. Short pass to Krumsek for Westwood. Ball's out of bounds again, I think. And this time it's going to be Clocker ball. Looks like Elise Reap there putting the ball into play. Her pass is intercepted by Westwood. Driven upfield to the 50. We've got 4 defenders back and 1 green player with the ball, number 2, Katie Krumsek. But the Ashland defense knocks it out of bounds. It's a free hit for Westwood. Possession maintained. It's inside the 10, but it's not inside the circle. Interception by the Clocker defense. That was Jonah. Jonah's doing a good job on defense. But the ball goes out of bounds off Leone's stick. It was Dorsky for Westwood. Over to Bloomquist again. Bloomquist passes the ball to the far side to McGowan, and she's unable to maintain possession, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be the Ashland ball for a side in. Pass down the sideline, it touches nobody until it gets to a Green player, and she passes it back into the Westwood offensive end. Katie Dean, the pass to the far side. Ball does go out of bounds, but Westwood's backing up, so it looks like it's Ashland ball. And there's a long chase down way past the goal line by the Ashland player, and she's bringing it back. I don't know where that ball went out of bounds. It's at the 30, 31. Pass goes right to Green. Two Green players there who get possession of the ball, and it's top of the circle. Pass by a Westwood player in close. Maintains possession, but she passes it out to the top, and it's intercepted by the Clockers, but it is intercepted by a foot apparently, because there's another corner call. Westwood has the huge edge on corners, as is usually the case when the ball is in that offensive end so much. And nothing results. There's an interception on that shot, a stop on that shot by, it appeared to be Natalie Arjona. She sends it out of bounds on the sideline, so it's nope, it went off the end line. So it's a 25-yard hit for Westwood. Again, it's out of bounds on the sideline. Again, it's a side in. Westwood gets the ball inside the 20, inside the 15. And it's not in the circle yet, though. Ashland has the ball. There's an attempt to pass it to a teammate on the far slide, and it makes its way all the way up to the 50-yard line. But Ashland's unable to capitalize. That was Lauren Burrick attempting to keep it inbounds, but unable to go. That was definitely a missed call on that play. It finally goes out of bounds. The official on this side missed the ball hitting the shin pads of number 19 for Westwood. That was Mia O'Donnell. In any case, the shot went out of bounds to the side of the net, so no harm there. Clockers have the ball at the 16. It comes out, it's stopped, and again, possession is gained by Green. Blomquist in the middle of the field sends it in. There's a whiff on a shot by Westwood. A save by Masiello, at least one save, maybe two. She sends it out to the near side, and we have a long pass. A long pass by Burak. Was it attempted to get to Leone, but it went out of bounds before Leone could reach it. In any case, it stopped a serious threat by Westwood to put the ball to the net. That edge shot by Westwood pass was too high. When you use the edge of the stick, it has to be pretty much flat on the ground. And if it bounces up and is out of control, the official will call that a dangerous hit. When you use the edge of the stick, you have to use the flat side of the stick. The field hockey sticks are rounded on the back side, and you have to use the front side or the edge. And if you do use the edge, it has to be flat on the ground. So that was a good call by the official, and the ball moved upfield here to the inside Ashland offensive end. I saw a stick interference, which was just called against Westwood. So the Clockers have the ball, a free hit at the 30. It's 5:30 to go in the game. And that free hit is too high. It wasn't dangerous, but it was out of control and right towards a Green defender. So the official made the right call on that. Green got the free hit, got it over the 50, but it stopped again by Pink, normally white. And it's back again into the Westwood offensive end. It is passed into the circle. One defender back for the Clockers. She makes the stop, sends it out. Is again picked up by Green. There's a centering pass out front by Green, which deflects outside the circle. Sent back in. That was Katie Dean for Westwood. It deflects off the stick, off a pink stick, so it'll be a 25-yard hit. 4.5 minutes to go, no score in this fourth quarter, this hotly contested game in which Westwood has dominated the offensive end, but has been unable to get the ball past Kaylee Masiello and the Ashland Clocker defense. Nice stop here by Ashland on an attempted pass by Westwood. That was a nice play by Cameron Geary for the Clockers. Clockers are maintaining possession here. Nice attempt to pass the ball by Burak, and it hits a Green player, and the Clockers have the free hit. And that's an aerial, and that's into an open area with nobody there. The official rules that it was a free ball. There was nobody from either team in the area, so I think he held the whistle because there was just nobody who was able to claim that aerial pass, pink or green. And that was a foot. That was a green foot, but no call there. I'm closer to the play than he was, unfortunately. Nice save by Masiello, and actually a save and a pass out to her defense that maintains possession of the ball. That's off a green leg. Nope, he's holding his whistle. Okay, it's finally called for a free hit. 3 minutes to go. It was a nice pass by Burak on that free hit. It went up, was stopped, kicked back by Green, but again intercepted by the Clockers. They're maintaining possession in the offensive end. You can't lose the game if you keep it down on this end, ladies. During the regular season, there is no overtime in high school field hockey play. Oh, that was a centering pass that cleared across the net. I don't know whether it went in front of or behind Masiello, but there was a Green player, number 19, free on the near side, O'Donnell, who was unable to get her stick on the ball, thank goodness. And that pass on the far side goes out of bounds, didn't touch anybody from pink on that side, so it's off of Green, and it's a 16-yard hit with 1:55 to go in this fourth quarter. The Clockers are close to at least getting a tie out of this game, in which they've been back on their heels on defense almost the entire time. Again, it's in the circle by Green. There's a shot on net. A shot. I wouldn't call it on net. It missed. It went out of bounds off Green, so it'll be a 16-yard hit by the Clockers at this point. And if I'm Foley, I'm telling Coach Foley, and I'm telling them just slow it down a little bit. Don't retrieve the ball too quickly. Take your time getting it in play. Another shot, a save by Masiello. It's back out to the top of the circle. It's still in the circle. Another edge pass by Green, another shot, another save. And it hit Green. We're down under a minute. This, from my point of view, from the coach's point of view, and from the Ashland Clocker point of view, that should have been called. In any case, this is a tie is a win in this case. And you got to give credit to the Ashland defense and to Kaylee Masiello in goal for keeping that ball out of the net. It's got to be frustrating, but it's really satisfying considering how much the play was in the Ashland defensive end, rather. And that was an aerial pass which went out of bounds, had no target. We're down to 7 seconds, 6, 5. There won't be enough time to get this free hit off, and it looks like the Clockers are going to walk away with a a moral victory, though it was a 0-0 tie. So we look forward to seeing you again next week here from Cunis Field. Don't know who the opponent's going to be, but we'll be on board again for the telecast of the Clocker game next Monday night starting at about 6 o'clock.